Spiritual Roundtable. If you enjoy spiritual conversation based around divination cards, you're in the right place. And I feel like I just sat down and started the live stream. I was on my personal page showing everybody George's new fenced in area up here at the Star Nations Academy. So he's outside right now. I don't know if you can see, I've got the door open so you can come and go. I'm just hoping I don't get any squirrels or anything coming walking in that door. We're gonna have to figure something out, maybe a screen door or something, I don't know. So anyway, welcome to the Spiritual Roundtable. Welcome to all of those that are in the live chat. So thank you so much for being with me this afternoon or evening, wherever you're at. And if you're like Jen, one of our longtime audience members, it'd be morning for her because she's down in Australia. Yeah. So today is Thursday, September 5th. I know this week is going by really quickly, isn't it? I think so. Of course, when you have a lot to do, it tends to be like that, right? Time flies by when you're having fun, they say. So what I'm going to do before we get into the cards or into a conversation about the energy and the spirit around that, I'm going to take my phone and I'm going to share out. Oh my gosh, I said that S word. I was doing so good too. I'm going to send the live stream over to my newsfeed. And that's just so that my friends remember that I'm live streaming. And I invite you to do the same, is to send the Spiritual Roundtable show, the live stream, to either to your newsfeed, or maybe you have a friend you'd like to share it with. That would be even better, right? So I'm going to let my friends know that I'm live streaming. And I'm going to ask them if they want to come out and play. Okay, in the live chat. And then we'll get that shared over there. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to send it over to our Star Nations live stream shows closed group to remind the peeps that I'm live streaming. And it's just going to take a second to remind the peeps. Why do we call them peeps? Because they're our people. They're our community, right? Live streaming. And then to please join us. There we go. Going to add a little emoticon to that. There. Doesn't take long. So I'm going to turn down the sound on my phone. There we go. And one of the things I wanted to share with you all is a little something that I noticed yesterday, okay? And even the day before. Now, I can't remember who it was in the live chat the other day. Was it Kimberly? I think it was Kimberly, or maybe it was Jen. I had asked if anybody had noticed about, light language coming in, downloading, feeling kind of wonky with the energy that was coming to us. And we had a nice discussion about that, right? And that night, I remember thinking, I wonder what that's all about. And asking my team to give me some information about that, right? And I've been using the blended oils from Polly Joe. I've been using the Inner Wisdom oil. And so this is what came to me yesterday. I think it was like, I had such a busy day yesterday between live stream shows and business calls, right? Live video calls. It was late in the day, and what came to me was grief. It's like, really? Well, what kind of grief could be there for me? And it was interesting the way that that I was shared that information. First, I flashed on my dad, and I realized that we were at the ninth year that he walked on. And I hadn't even stopped to take a look at the calendar, right? To realize that, oh my goodness, this has been 9 years. And Mom didn't even talk about it, right? And so I sat with that for a little bit and was wondering, do I have any residual or hidden grief around my dad's walking on, And I, to be quite honest, there's still there's vestiges there. Especially when I watch my mom, and how long they were married and what it would be like, not to have your partner, right? So I even get reclapped even just thinking about it. So there's something there, right? So, okay, I've got something to pay attention to, right? And the next thing that came in right behind that was the changes that occurred in Star Nations a couple of years ago, and that we're on the edge, okay, of another big change. And that's what I've been working on so diligently with all these calls and all of that. And so I'm hoping that the expansion, literally, the expansion is going to, you guys are going to like it. And so along with that, there is some grief attached to that because I'm letting go of some of the old energy that was still here, which isn't horrible. No, not by any stretch, but we outgrew it, right? And so sitting with that, and I realized is how we experience grief, or how we, our perspective of it, right? Even with that, I had this feeling that we have to look at it from a broader point of view. And I know that there's many, many, many of us here at Star Nations that were going through different aspects of grief, whether it's loss of a spouse, and it's been a really long time since they've been gone, or it's been really, really recent, or you've got somebody really, really ill in your family, right? And so there's different layers of experiencing the grief. And that's what I was shown yesterday. And to me, it made a whole lot of sense, especially even when we're talking about the cards that have been showing up for us in the last 2 weeks. And especially since we switched over to Kyle Gray's cards, the Angel and Ancestors, that we are experiencing, that if we dive deep into our emotions, that we have huge success, right? That we shine the light, our inner light, into those hidden areas where we have maybe emotions that we either have suppressed or repressed or ignored, right? And we're really being encouraged to take a look at that. And I realized that for many of us, it could be a form of grief, and how we can look at it, experience it from a different perspective, because we have to look at our belief system around it, right? It's what we've been taught from very young, right? And experiencing letting go of something, whether it's a loved one, or if it's something that's very close to you, right? And there's nothing wrong with feeling sad about it, that's for sure. But at some point when you've moved through that initial shock, right? That initial shock. And that could be, days, weeks, months, or years for that to happen. Georgie's back. And we have to have the opportunity to look at it from a more expansive way. And for me, that meant looking at what's on the other side of that. What's on the other side of the grief? that when we heal those last vestiges, right? Or maybe we acknowledge, we finally admit there's a piece there that I haven't even looked at because I didn't want to spend the time in the memories of that hurt and that pain, right? But when we do that, there's a whole sacred space, an energetic space that is open to us to grow into and to explore. That when we don't take the time to really address that unfelt grief or the acknowledged emotions, that we use a lot of our energy in that. We do. And that's what I was shown yesterday. And I wanted to share that with you today because we have had some really deep conversations in the last 2 weeks, right, about the energy that the cards have been showing us. And I wanted to share that with you guys. Maybe that might resonate with you. If it does, great. If it doesn't, it's okay. Maybe you can share it with someone else, but that's what I wanted to share. And Rob's here with us. Hey, Rob. He's saying, I've been finding that it's time to drop the eclecticism and choose a path. Not that one is right and the other is wrong. It's just a matter of identification. Yeah. And it's a matter of energy allocation, really, Rob. Because when our energy or our focus is split, it's not that it can't be done. It's just that it can take a lot of wattage to do that. When you can really take that full you and put it into whatever path that you choose, right? Rather than, it's more of a laser focus rather than the shotgun approach, right? That's the analogy. And he's also saying, I've never been one to identify with one path as I've always hated being boxed in with dogma. Me too. That's why I've never belonged to any religious organization. And it's not because I don't like the people in it or anything like that. It's just, it's too confining. And that doesn't just include Christianity. It also includes traditional Native American beliefs, because traditional beliefs can be just as rigid and linear as any other Western culture's religion, right? And so that's one of the reasons why I hadn't. So I understand that. But the time came that I can identify with the path, and that's good. I feel happy for you, Rob. And is that the druidry? Yeah. So, here we go. This is the deck we're using for those who might be just tuning in or watching the recorded show. We're using Kyle Gray's Angels and Ancestors Oracle deck. Yeah. I'm going to get up and close that door. George is on the love seat falling asleep. So I'm going to close the door. I just had this image of one of the neighborhood cats walking in, and George having another visitor. So here is the first card. Wait, I'm going to turn off the scroller. There we go. Here we go. Yeah, that's good. I think just looking at what you've written and shared with me in the past, both in the show and in private conversations, I think it feels like the best decision for you right now, right? It feels good. Answering the ancestors' call, some might say. Yeah. So look who showed up again. First card out of the deck this morning. The sun. We just had the sun, what was that, 2 days ago? It was either on Sunday or Tuesday. The sun. Enjoy success and happiness. Enjoy success and happiness. Right? And, Kyle talks about the outer sun, that we can't live here on earth without the sun. The sun's energy is what makes everything grow, and it illuminates, right? So it's needed. In order for us to survive here, we have to have the sun. But it's also talking about the inner sun, our inner sun. And that too, we can't live without. And that too is the one that helps us to grow. As above, so below, right? That's an ancient axiom from Thoth. As above, so below. As within, so without, right? The sun. And so the message with the sun is about know that doors are opening for you. Follow up new projects, ventures, and ideas. Connect with the inner fire that's driving you forward, right? And so when we have what I call debris in our lives, those are the emotions, the emotional and mental traumas that we're not addressing, and all the things that are attached to those debris. It takes our energy to either keep those at bay, right? To keep them at bay. And so the energy that we would use for new projects or ventures or ideas or anything like that gets diminished, right? It's not as strong of a flow. And so when we're dealing with our own energy full on with no anything siphoning it off, right? That's a huge energy. It's huge. And so that leads to how we create and call in the manifestations, right? Because our emotions are the fuel to bringing those onto the earth plane. Yeah. Rob saying, obviously, I carry the Native American teachings I've learned to this point, and much has to be adapted. This is not Britain, Ireland, or Gaul, right? This is Turtle Island. That's correct. And I do believe that we are living in exactly the right place at the right time to experience all of our gifts, right? And there's a reason why, Rob, your family, your ancestors moved here. Right? And honestly, the indigenous beliefs and even some of the ceremonies carry very similar energy, right? So at the very base, at the very root, it's the same. It's how we apply them in our individual lives that's different. They could be different. So, the indigenous teachings. Because even if you would have been, let's say, in Australia, right? If you had been in Australia, you would have been connecting to the indigenous people from there, right? The Aboriginals. So it's the same. At the root, at the very, very root. See, when I was making those kinds of decisions in my life, Rob, I was searching. I was searching for something that I wanted to know what it was at the root, at the very beginning, and not so much what we have, the two-leggeds have. What's a good word? Manipulated into a certain belief, right? I wanted to know what it was like in the beginning, at the root. And that's where I found sacred geometry. And so that for me was the root. Yeah. And Rob, whoops, I'm sorry, Rob. He says, but the revealed religions are gone, and that means Kabbalah is on the back burner for a while until I reach the place where I can incorporate that into the Druic vessel. Yeah. Until you connect the dots, right? Until you get to that place of what I call the roots, the beginning. Yep. Right. The Aborigine. Mm-hmm. So I don't think, yeah, it's true. Yeah, that the genetically the first people. But what what I was trying to say is that I don't think it depends on what continent that you reside on. That if you're searching for your original roots, right, in the physical form, or in the spiritual form too, that of course you're going to turn to the indigenous people of that continent, because they hold in the essence, the understanding of Grandmother Earth in that place, right? And then when you go further with your research and your searching and your seeking, and you're seeking your own ancestors and where they originated from, and of course it makes perfect sense to me that you would come to the conclusion of Druidry, Rob. Makes perfect sense to me. Yeah. But the fact that we even have a word for first people is a sign of the disconnection of the European peoples. That's true. That's true. All right, so let's see what the sun can tell us about that, Rob. It says that the most powerful planet in the solar system is the sun. So the sun card appears in a reading. It will bring power, success, and light. It brightens up all connections, banishes darkness, brings a sense of youthfulness, and invites you to connect to the energy of joy so that you can be light in spirit and in heart. And joy is a higher frequency than love. Higher frequency than love. Joy. It says that you're being surrounded by the brightness of the sun at this time. Opportunities to feel and be successful are swirling and dancing around you. If you're not somewhere bright and sunny now, there'll be other ways in which you can enjoy warmth and joy. Solar energy brings health and vitality and can energize and warm. And it also encourages everything to grow. The energy of the energy of expansion is with you at this time, and you're being offered the perfect opportunity to move forward. Right? If you want to bring something to life or ready to take a new step in a relationship, the sun will bring the right energy to you. If you're asking a question, the answer is most definitely yes. So in that relationship, it can be any kind of relationship. It can be a romantic relationship. It can be a business relationship. It can be a partnership, right? It can be joining a new organization, a new group of people, and be in relationship with that community, right? Right. So tap into the sun, into the inner sun. Sense that feeling of joy. When the decision is made and you get past, the anxiousness, the anxiety, the fear of doing something new, and just stepping off onto that new path. right? I think it's normal for us two-leggeds to have those kinds of emotions before we head into that new direction, right? And I think that the key there is to connect with your team, your spiritual team, and ask them to please come close so that they can help you to find a way to be brave and courageous, to step in that new direction. Yeah. To face the fears and the emotions around those fears, right? So that you can wholeheartedly step in that new direction. And when you do that, you do have a sense of joy. You do feel lighter. You do feel happier, right? Just with the decision that's made. Because then at least, then you can start making plans, right? In how you want to walk in this new direction. And so the sun, we're being told today by Spirit that the sun is here for us, with us. Right? Yeah. To illuminate our path. When I call to the directions, right? Well, the directions are always with us, number one. But when we turn our attentions to them, our focus to them, and we ask them to be with us consciously, right? Whenever I call to Grandfather Sky, and I ask him to come close, right? And I thank him for illuminating our path with the sun, the stars, and the moon. And the reason why I say it in that way is because the sun, in its illumination, right, brightens everything. The moon shows us what's in the dark, right? And the sun and the planets carry their own energy in that illumination. And sometimes the illumination is for the seen, what we can actually see with our physical eyes, but it's also for the unseen, that which is in spirit. And so I'm just grateful the sun decided to show up again today for us in the card draw. Now, we also have the Heart Guardian came in as the second card. So supporting the energy of the first one, the first card, right? The Heart Guardian is all about love and let yourself be loved. So in other words, we're open to receive and open to give love. The Heart Guardian. And yes, that is the Sacred Heart. Right? And she's wearing a ring with, looks like a ruby or a garnet in it. Yeah. Serene. She has a rose on her shoulder. And in so many cultures, the rose is seen as a symbol of love, as is the color red. And the color red is really very energetic, right? It carries a lot of energy to it. And in feng shui, when we're balancing out the elements and there's not enough fire in a space, we add the color red. Just a little bit. A little bit goes a long way. When you have too much red, then you're into the opposite side of that, which is aggression. But red is an active color. An active color. Some would say that it's actually a male energy color because it's so active. But to me, it's a very balanced color of both male and female energies. Because it's an active color, but it's also associated with love and nurturing, compassion. Right? Although we have sayings like, somebody was so angry they saw red. Did you ever hear that one? That's when you have too much red. All right, and so here's what Kyle, the author, has to say. Welcome with open arms opportunities to give and to receive love. The heart guardian is an angelic energy that can help you call for protection and guidance with all issues surrounding the heart. She can enable you to move beyond any limiting fears about trust, discern whom to trust, and to understand how you can move forward in a balanced relationship with that person. In this card, she is adorned with the Sacred Heart and draped in a red cloak to show her capacity to let love lead the way. You are love, lovable, and loving. The energy of love is surrounding you, surrounding your whole world at this time. Encouraging you, the angels are encouraging you to open your heart and reveal the blessings that you have to offer. They want you to know that you are a highly loving being who deserves to give and receive love. If you are finding it challenging to feel love at this time, it's important for you to give yourself credit where credit's due. You're also encouraged to welcome support from others. Learn to receive. Don't try to do everything on your own. If you're working on a relationship or a new relationship, this card can usher in energies that allow you to forge a powerful connection with your partner. Love is in the air. So, this angel, the heart guardian, right? She can help us to identify and resolve those feelings of mistrust, right? Because if we're going to have an open heart in giving and receiving love, one of the blocks that could be there, or the debris that could be there to slow that down, is our level of trust. And as two-leggeds, that's something that we're here, I believe, to face and learn about and to gain wisdom around that is trust. Because when we trust, our heart isn't protected by, that Kevlar vest, right? Is that we have that openness to receive and to give love, rather than thinking about what do they want, what do they want from me? Or, wondering how are they going to use what you give them, that level of trust. Yeah. Here, Rob is saying something. The flora and fauna are also different, and the spirits of the land are different. This is merely the means we use to connect. Right. Yeah. And they can teach you so much about that part of Grandmother Earth, right? That part of Grandmother Earth that you might not remember, but the memories are there in your blood and your bones, because that's where your people came from. That's where your ancestors came from. All right. So with the heart guardian, we can call on the angels connected to the heart guardian to come in and to teach us about how we can be more open, right? If you have healing to do in this area, maybe it's an emotional or mental trauma that's part of the debris that's blocking it, blocking the flow of it. The sun is going to help you to illuminate that. The heart guardian is going to share with you how to heal that. And so you can ask your spiritual team to send you, right, a healer. You can even identify the traits of the healer if you like, and the resources to support that, whether it's financial resources or perhaps it's time, right? to fit that all in? Yeah. It's more important that you take the strides, make the motion, the movement to not just to identify it, but to actually do something about it, right? And usually when these things kind of float to the top, that means that we're ready, that we have everything available to us to resolve it. What we have to do is make the decision, because it's still our choice, right? Because we have free will. And so if you choose to make that process and healing, that your spiritual team will assist you. Of course, the Creator is going to assist you, but you also have other seen resources there that could be brought to you as well, right? So the heart guardian, love and let yourself be loved. Supporting the message coming from the sun. And then our third card is the traveler. The traveler. It says move in a new direction. Move in a new direction. And notice she's only carrying one bag. Right? She's taking what she really, really needs with her. Not what she wants, but what she needs for her to be able to travel that path. And again, here's a lady in red. We have two women, two divine feminine energies in the color red, supporting the message coming from the sun, the divine masculine energy, right? Yeah, move in a new direction. It says, welcome and any opportunities to travel either to the outer world or to your inner worlds. The opportunity to move in a new direction is coming your way, and ancestral wisdom is encouraging you to welcome it with open arms. Going on a trip is an exciting process, because not only do you learn about the world, you also learn about yourself. This card often comes up when you have a chance to go through a process of awakening and understand even more about the amazing qualities you have to share with the world. Often such journeys can be lonely, but this in itself can teach you that you are never really alone, and your angels and ancestors are there for you. Right? So that's a mouthful, I think. Because whether we're traveling in the physical world to a new place, right? New adventures, to see new sights, and I love going to sacred sites all over the world, and learning about new things, right? Your spiritual team, your angels and your ancestors are going to be with you on that physical travel. But they're also with you when you do that inner journey, when you decide to travel within, to know yourself, the true you, even better, to remember, right, aspects of yourself that you may have forgotten as you came into this physical life. Yeah. So either way, they're with us on the journey. All we have to do is ask them for assistance, to be there for us, to travel with us, right? In a way that they'll be able to show us where we need to go, what we need to see, and the information that's going to come from those places. They can help us to take in. That's optimal for us, right? Yeah. So for those of us who love to travel, whether it's in the seen or unseen, we're never alone. Never, never, ever. And even if you don't like to travel, you're never alone either. All right, so here is the rest of it. The road you are on may be the road less traveled, but this journey is going to be highly beneficial for your emotional and spiritual growth. If it isn't about covering outer distance, it's about covering distance within, and you will be evolving every single moment of it. Remember to keep things simple and to lighten your load, because that will make your journey more enjoyable. And there's a good chance that along the way, you'll make new friends who will become companions for a lifetime. Right? You know, when I read this information this morning, and I was sitting with it for a bit, right? It kind of reminded me about Star Nation's community. That for many of you, you were searching for a place to belong, a place where you can share your thoughts and feelings about spirit, to be supported in your spiritual growth, in your experiences on that path, and to be supported, right? And to be loved, right? And so, as a traveler, and according to that card, is that many of you traveled here to Star Nation's community, right? To be around people, other two-leggeds that are similar in thought and similar in heart. And so that you can let down your guard a lot or a little bit, doesn't matter. That you begin to open up, right? To open to receive, but also in our shows, many times it's this conversation that we're having, like we're having today, right? That we're exchanging information and stories. And so it's a part of that travel within that's being supported, right? That's what came to me this morning when I read the information. And hey, Jen's here. Hello, Jen. No worries. Right on time. Jen says, LOL, so true for me. I've traveled the world extensively. Now I am flat out traveling to town. A road less traveled, the road deep within. That's right. Yeah. And you know, both kinds of travel are very fulfilling in our growth. Both our growth in the physical world, but also our growth, our evolution as a soul, right? Yeah. Heck, and there's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with traveling to a very beautiful place, right? And enjoying the flora and fauna, as Rob was talking about, of those distant places, but also the inner world, right? The inner world, your heart, to travel to your heart. Yeah. We get to do that in November. I get to teach a class, a weekend retreat about that. Can't wait. And here's the fourth card. Again, today, as I was scooping up the cards to put them back in the bag, this one didn't want to get scooped up. Oh my gosh. You know, it's like, okay, all right, I'll bring you along. Oracle. Wait for the important information. Wait for the important information. And again, here is a female, right? An oracle, a seer, wearing red. Not as much red as the other two, but wearing red. And even the snake tattooed on her arm has red eyes, right? And she's using smoke to see information. We're going to put C in in air quotes, right? The message is be open and receptive to information. Gather facts so that you can make a decision that's in line with your integrity. So as we travel this new path, if that's what you're doing, you're traveling inward or outward, is to be aware of your intuition and the information that's coming in, and to be open to receiving possibly information that may be different, right? May be brought to you differently, or it is completely different, is to be open to it and discerning. In other words, connecting to your higher self and saying, what is this? Is this something that's for our highest good, so that we're bringing in the information and the experience that's meant for us, right? Yeah. And because your soul already knows. It's getting to the information, right? Getting it into your conscious mind. Right. And so the oracle is a truth speaker, an insight bringer, the ancestor who will be your best outspoken girlfriend. Oh my gosh, don't we all have one of those? Sometimes, truth be told, I'm that one girlfriend that's outspoken. If you want to have the truth and sometimes the bluntness of it, because I'm a triple fire, that would be me. Now, I've learned over the years to not to hide that, but to be kinder with it, right? And so if you ever want to have that kind of conversation, you're more than welcome to contact me and ask me, and I'll be as kindly blunt as I can be. And so, in the picture, she's holding a bowl that has sacred smoke rising out of it, bringing the message to look beyond all you can see and gather information in order to make an accurate evaluation of your current situation. So literally, we're looking into the seen and the unseen, right? The physical and the non-physical, the material and the spiritual. Angels and ancestors and the universe are speaking to you at this time. So look and listen for important conversations, signs, and messages that will point you in the right direction. You're being guided to wait for more information before making fast moves, because at the moment you're letting your wants get in the way of your needs. There's an opportunity for you to see everything clearly at this time, but you'll only be able to do so if you're willing to truly open your eyes. If you have been waiting for further information about a choice you have to make or an action you have to take, don't take matters into your own hands, but let what needs to be revealed be revealed. Then you'll know what to do next. The angels are supporting you. Trust them. Yeah. So there's that word again, trust, right? There's that word again, trust. So some of this information really does fit what I was told yesterday by my spiritual team as I was given the information about grief and how important it is for us to be able to look at it and experience it from a more expansive point of view, right? Because when we can see something from a more expansive point of view, we're literally seeing a more whole picture, right? Yeah. Okay. So, Jen is saying, one day I may be fortunate enough to do a workshop in person with you, Neshi. That would be great. Simply just sit and chat to face would be magic. Wouldn't it though? And who knows, you might be here in the States and come to Wisconsin, or I might be in Australia and come to you. You never know, right? It'd be great though. It'd be grand. It'd be grand. We could have tea and biscuits together. Is that what you guys call it? We call it tea and cookies. Tea and cookies. All right. Or maybe even an adult beverage, like a glass of wine or something like that. Okay. So I'm going to show you all 4 cards together. All right. And I'm going to take my name down so it doesn't get in the way. And so we know, right? We know that to call our team to us, they're always with us, but to call them close, come close and help me, right? Help me to take in the information that's for my highest good in the most optimal way. So you take it in both the seen and unseen, okay? All right, big deep breath in. And on the exhale, let's see if I can get them all in there, right? Taking in the full message. We started with the sun and the illumination. And this is the second time this week that the sun has come to us. So we know it's important. It's an important message that's coming, is to illuminate those areas that need illumination so that we can see what we need to address. And when we address those things, I'm going to call them emotional traumas or mental traumas. We resolve those, we heal them, we release them. That we clear the debris away so that we have fuller access to both our gifts and our intuition, right? We trust our intuition more. There's a key word here that's going around here, and that is the trust. And then the heart guardian comes in to support that message about compassion and love. Trusting so that we can have an open heart to give and to receive. To open to give and receive love. And to heal those aspects that reduce our ability to give and receive love. So that we trust, right? And then the traveler comes in to support that message, saying that to travel within or to without, right? To travel our journey inside of ourselves, or to go on a journey out there in the world to see the new sights, experiences. Is all about expanding ourselves, our understanding of ourselves. And sometimes taking the road less traveled actually has more to gain. So if we take that journey within so that we can really understand those areas that the sun is illuminating for us, those hidden emotions that we chose not to deal with, maybe it's time, it's the opportunity to deal with them. So you can heal it, release it, and free up your energy that you've been using to hold those emotions down or at bay, so that your energies can be applied on this new path, this new venture. And the oracle wanted to come along. She wanted to come along to say that she's available to help you to see the unseen, both the seen and unseen, and to trust in your intuition, and to trust in your spiritual team, the angels,
to bring you the information that you need. Right? Notice we have 3 women in red supporting a very masculine energy sun. So we also have a lot of compassion, a lot of nurturing, right? To support what's being illuminated by the sun so that we can heal it. And so that we can have success and experience joy and peace and love. Right? I think it's a big message. That sun twice in 1 week. Rob is saying, I was thinking of making a trip to PJ's class next month, but that is the same weekend as Amantha Murphy's class. Oh, it is? I didn't know Amantha was going to be back. Yeah, well, it's a decision, right? It's a decision. Either one is good, Rob. Either one is good. I love both ladies, and I think you know them well enough to make a good decision. Yeah. Jen says, I have since I was a kid seen things differently, or just logically what we are told as truth simply did not add up. I was so right. It's all being brought to the light. Yeah. Yep. She's saying red tent. I know, right? Red tent. Exactly. Like the Brian Ferry song. Well, give us a lyric in there, Rob. I know we're almost near the top of the hour. So, whatever resonated with you today in this conversation about the spiritual information brought to us through the cards, whatever resonated with you, my suggestion is to hold it close, embrace it, and then watch, see, sense, feel how today's energy is unfolding around you and where this information can be helpful. Yeah, and if it didn't resonate with you, don't worry about it. No worries, right? There's always the next card draw, which is on Sunday. So, and maybe you're a messenger. Maybe you're the person who was meant to hear the information and say, I know someone who would either has been seeking the information, or maybe they've been seeking a spiritual community like this where they can have this kind of conversation, right? And you can just share the link with them to the show, the recorded show, and then you're done. All right. So a couple things for you guys before we say good afternoon or good evening or good morning is tonight we have a show for you with Constance Vader-Shear and Shear-Vader. Sorry, got that turned around. Shear-Vader. Connie is one of our elders here at Star Nations, and her show tonight is The Spiritual Mysteries of Life, and it's on at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And Connie has a way of bringing in spiritual aspects into everyday life, right? And she is also a channel. And who does she channel? She channels Mother Mary, and also it's not the Violet Flame. I can't remember the full name. Something Flame. And so anyway, she takes some. No, we never know. We never know if she's going to channel or not. If she's channeling, she will take questions. All right, and connect with Spirit to give you an answer. And so if you enjoyed that, you can join us at 8 p.m. And I get to produce her show, so I get to sit in the front row. And occasionally you might see me on with her because sometimes she needs a little help with the technology piece. And so I'm there for it. Yeah. Oh, Rob, Lady in Red. Oh, yeah. My bad. That was Chris DeBerg. Oh, well, I wouldn't have known the difference anyway, Rob. But I know the song Lady in Red. I don't know who sang it, though. Okay. So if you can join us, right, for a Connie show, that would be really great. If not, then I'll see you back here on Sunday for the Spiritual Roundtable at 3 p.m. Eastern Time because this show is Sunday through Thursday. And and you know what? I forgot to share with you guys. I don't think I shared it anyway. I'm actually going on vacation. I haven't had a real vacation in years. Years. The last trip I went on was to Wales, Ireland, and Glastonbury, and that was 3 years ago, almost 4 years ago. And that was more of a working trip. And so, yeah. So this one, I'm going to Denver, and we'll be spending some time with my good friend, my sister, Minnie Kansman, to support her in her very first nature adventures travel in Estes Park, I think it is. Yeah, she'll be doing some forest bathing exercises with us. And so I get to go and support her, but I'm really, really just a student and absorbing all the energies of the mountains. Yeah. So I'll be gone from the 14th through the 22nd. And so, yeah. So we won't be having spiritual roundtable during that time, but I'll let you guys know the closer we get to it too. Okay. All right. So enjoy the rest of your Thursday, and we'll hopefully see you tonight. Bama Mina. And you know what that means, don't you? In Potawatomi? Until we see each other again. Love you guys.